This is Artist Accounts. In this video, I will be talking about a fast prima piece I did, but I also have to stuff some other stuff in because I don't have a lot of time and I need to get some info out. So this is spring 2020, and I did a short piece just kind of based on like a feeling of annoyance that I was having with the whole isolation stuff, and then my personal life. My husband's overseas right now, which just really adds to the complication of the whole. I don't know. In some ways, nothing's happening. Like I'm in such a good place. We have running water. We have food. Nothing has changed. We have income. But then on the other hand, it's just very annoying. And so, what is that? What is that feeling? And this piece is a piece I actually revisited. I've done this piece before, something very similar, and it's the whole idea that you're drowning in knee high water. And I think a lot of societal problems are very much like drowning in knee high water. And when I think about the visuals of like what accurately defines this, I think drowning in knee high water is really accurate. And um, because it's the coronavirus and because it's all just so confusing, because maybe it's super dangerous and maybe it's nothing and maybe it's just the flu and it's back and forth and maybe some places it's real and some places it's not. I added muddy water. And so I thought the idea of being under about 2 inches of muddy water is about where we feel mentally. At least this is the visual for where I was feeling mentally. And then I did this piece and I kind of felt like I had identified it. And there's something absolutely wonderful about identifying a specific emotion, um, because it's like once you know you can communicate it, it kind of is, you're separate from it almost. You can separate it from the whole of yourself. And for me, at least, that is the best function of my art. There are other things more academic, there's the technique of representation, but man, that ability to put to, not even to words, because images are before words, but put to terms and identify and find the magic of the thing previously undefinable and see yourself and it as two things instead of one, and that clarity that comes from that kind of expression, I think is one of the primary reasons I do any kind of art. And still lifes and perspective and how to paint, that is all just tools to do that better for me. In this piece, though, I did decide to work in a completely al prima style. I'm really experimenting with how to get past some of those hard edges that I've become really comfortable with. And this was a great piece to work with that, because I didn't really care too much if I was doing a realistic idea of water. And some people have looked at this and they've said, oh, well, that looks like a dust storm as much as it looks like water. And sometimes that's okay. I don't necessarily like to lean into that give, because I think there's a lot of artists that use that as an excuse to just put down blobs and be done. For this type of piece that was just a completely off the cuff emotional piece and I just wanted to get it out and just be done with it, I think it's fine. I think this idea is almost like a sketch in this form. Like it's good in this form, but it's almost like a sketch in this form. And this whole idea could be revisited and rearticulated, and I could use a real visual model. I used one of those little like drawing dolls, which I've used a little bit. I don't like it as much as I like photoing someone posed, and then drawing from the photo. I mean, of course, it would be most ideal to paint from life, but it's impractical. It's especially with the resource level that I'm at right now for it, because I definitely can't afford to have someone sit for hours and hours, nor do I have time available for specific times of day to have someone sit in fantasy poses for hours and hours. Anyway, but this piece I call Feeling for the Surface. I painted it all in one setting. It took me about somewhere between 2.5 and 3 hours, and that's a freedom of the style. And in some ways there is no background. Like there is a background, but in some ways there is no background. So it's really just a matter of working the figure, and I'm pretty happy with the face. I'm happy with the water effect. Um, like many good al prima pieces, it looks best from 3 feet away because your brain fills in all the gaps. Um, so that is this piece. And then the other thing I need to talk about is I have been working on print on demand stores. And I have had Zazzle for a while, and I still have Zazzle, and I would say the Zazzle products have never failed me. But the software on Zazzle, it's it's almost because it has too much that it's a problem. And I've had issues with the creator side not showing up the same as the customer side. And I have sent them emails and got no responses, and things magically got fixed, but there's no explanations. And fair enough, because they provide me with any royalty I want, because you can set the level of royalty, which I typically leave it at 10%. And they do specifically say they don't do advertising, and they don't, like, there's a lot they don't do because they provide a really high economic, like a high quality product with really low investment. I mean, no investment really, because nothing's made until after it's been purchased. But I decided to keep looking, and I experimented with Redbubble, and I was really excited about Redbubble because they do the photos that are, or the stickers. They do the stickers that are cropped around the edge of the image, which are nice, but they advertise them on coffee mugs. And so that would make you think they're dishwasher safe. So I ordered one and I tried it. It was not dishwasher safe. And then also their shirts, while they are printed in America, which I was excited, they advertise them as a bunch of colors. Well, if you select a specific color other than like black or white, or maybe the grays, I don't know, I didn't try the grays, I only tried one shirt. But it came and the front was a different color and the back was black. And maybe it's my fault and I didn't read into it properly, but the problem with that is I'm not silly. So at some point, your website was not articulating that simply. And if somebody else wants to put my design with an alternate color, which is what I wanted it to be set up for, they're not going to either. They're going to have the same experience as me. And so Redbubble's off the table, which was really disappointing because they have a really neat system where a lot of things are printed, like instead of, like, say you're in Germany and you order it, instead of it being printed somewhere and shipped, they have it printed in Germany because they have print shops in, I think, Germany, Australia, America, and I guess there's a few things like shower curtains or something that are printed only in one location. But for the most part, they're printed in the place where you ordered them from. So even though they were set up in the States, they'd be printed from those places. And I really liked that model. But now I am in Design by Humans. And I haven't built a bunch of products because this time I did things in the right order and I made 2 products. And I've been really happy with them. And I'm actually wearing the shirt that I designed. Now, I don't know if I will keep this to the side orientation. I wanted to try it. So, of course, the best thing you can do is just order the product. I can't do a bunch of them, so this is probably the only shirt that I will get made in the interim. But I'm happy with it. I might end up designing specifically for shirts instead of trying to reappropriate stuff. I think for the stickers, I can reappropriate a lot of my old artwork and make into stickers really high quality. Haven't had the same luck with shirts, and I have had a huge struggle trying to find uh, actually this type of razorback tank top that I could wear under anything, like in the styles that I wanted. And then I actually kind of found out some of the styles that I wanted were designed by Human Designs already. And so I was like, well, that's who I should be working with then. And so we'll see how that goes. I haven't been doing as much of the digital stuff because my husband and I decided we were just in survive mode until he gets back. So I'm just doing, when I do have time to do art stuff, I'm doing the videos and I'm doing hands-on the oil painting, and I'm 2/3 through my 4th painting in my self-realization series. And so I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm looking forward to getting that one done and starting on the last one, which will be the most complicated of the self-realization series. And I actually have two other ideas in my head, not in reality, that I'll start working on as soon as I get the self-realization series done. So, all right. I hope that wasn't too incredibly rambly. I didn't have time to sort out one thought group from another thought group. And anyway, but something is better than nothing. So I hope you have a wonderful day.